All right, welcome to this video. We are going to be just discussing a few areas of Kansas City that maybe you might want to buy rental property. Kansas City is a very diverse city, and there's a lot of different places people can go with their money and where you want to invest. But it really comes down to your investment strategy and what you want to be doing, how many properties you want, what kind of tenants you want. Do you want Section 8 tenants? VanPace really doesn't do that many, or VP Property Management really doesn't do that many Section 8 properties. So if that was something that you are looking for, we're probably not the best fit for you if you're looking for Section 8. But we're going to start out over here on the east side of Kansas City. There's a lot of properties for sale over here. And let me see if I can just get rid of some of these bubbles. We'll go to price here. Price minimum, 50,000, maximum 150. But so if you're looking for a rental property, it really comes down to what are you looking for? Are you buying it for appreciation? Are you buying it for cash flow? Are you buying it just as a place to park money? All those factors can play a part in where you might want to buy. If you're going for cash flow and you don't have, or you don't want to, or you don't have a ton of money to put down, then you might be looking more on the east side of Kansas City. This has changed a lot in the last 6 years, whereas there's like the demographic of people living in these areas has changed a lot. There are a lot more Hispanic owner occupants in these areas, and that has really made a different demographic of people and really kind of changed the overall feel of a lot of these neighborhoods. So they're not as rough as they once were. Is there crime in these areas? Yeah, there's still some crime, but for the most part, these are pretty safe bets as far as going with the house. Now, if you do buy in this area, like, the demographic of who you're going to get as a client is going to, be a lower income probably. So that's going to factor into what you do with the property. Now, our recommendation, if you're buying in, east of 71, so 71 is kind of a dividing line that a lot of people would stay around. Even a little bit, parts on the west side of it can still be, lower income demographic. But here's the thing, a lot of people are getting priced out of rental properties in the nice areas, the Hyde Parks, the Brooksides, the Waldos, and things like that, and they're moving further and further east to find something that they can afford. So if you make your property, just a little bit nicer, I'm not saying put granite in, put marble in, put, really expensive finishes in it. I'm just saying make it really nice. Have washer and dryer. Because if you don't have washer and dryer, or at least washer and dryer hookups, you get a different kind of demographic than you would if you have a washer and dryer in the unit. But just make it a little bit nicer, then charge a little bit higher on the scale of what you can charge. So let's just find one of these properties here. I'm just going to click a random one. I have not looked into this. Let's find the address here. Got a little bit of a lag, but okay. 3714 Bellefontaine Avenue. So let's go to Rentometer now. 3714. Was that a 3-bed, 4-bed, 1-bath? So 4-bed, 1-bath house. Let's check here. Still thinking, but here, results on 16 4-bedroom single bath houses seen in the last 12 months on a 2-mile radius. So average 1,300, median. So there's upper side. Well, I'm still thinking, but so we're looking right around $1,300 for a $130 house, a $130,000 house. Now I don't know the condition on the inside. That's a large house. There could be a lot of things that need to be updated, but you're you're getting a decent rent. I think you could push that a little bit if you made it a little bit nicer, added a second bathroom, made sure there was a washer and dryer. Anyway, so if you are looking for a property on the Missouri side, now there's a lot of things to take into consideration when you are buying on the Missouri side. Jackson County taxes have been ridiculous. They've seen huge spikes. But if you put over $5,000 into the property, then you could do a 10-year tax abatement. So if you factor that into your, pro forma on your investment property, see if that makes it worth it to be investing in those neighborhoods. So Van Pace Holdings can help you with that if that was something, or VP Property Management, excuse me, can help you with that. But that would be something you need to consider. Now, there's also the tenants' rights, the tenants' laws that the mayor is really behind helping tenants out and not being favorable to landlords. So just think of it, consider it, look into what's going on before you buy in some of these areas, because if you get the wrong tenant, it can really, mess up your income strategy. I mean, if you need to rely on the rent to pay the mortgage, then, well, first of all, I wouldn't recommend you buying a property. But if, you just don't want to miss out on it, then, you might consider a different area. So let's zoom out a little bit further here, because some of those old houses that built in like 1900, 1910, they come with their own set of problems, So if we zoom in just a little bit here, there's a neighborhood right here called Vineyard. And most of these houses are built in like the 1950s, little ranch houses, 3-bed, 1-bath. Really could be a good fit. Let's click on one here. So 3-bed, 1-bath, 5107 East 40th Street. That one actually looks a little bit older, so let's not do that one. Okay, here we go. 3-bed, 1-bath, 960 square feet. So 3920 Spruce. Let's just take a look here. I'm just using a free version of Rentometer, but it gives you an idea. Here we go. Okay, what did I say that address was? 3920 Spruce. Three-bed, 1-bath house. Okay, you're looking at around $1,200 if you made it nice. Let's see. The inside looks relatively nice. They vaulted the ceilings, have vinyl flooring. It's got a garage. Things look new. So I would really do a thorough inspection on this just to make sure that there's not anything covered up that, might be a problem. But for $116,000, that's not about it. Has non-conforming 3rd-bedroom office in the basement, so it's not really a 3-bed, 1-bath. And if you were going with Section 8, they wouldn't give you rent for the 3rd bedroom. So just something to think about. So you might not be able to get that much, but not a bad house. Might not come with all the issues. I would still probably do a tax abatement on that to fix your costs. The other area that I would recommend looking, which it has its ups and downs, is this area, Ruskin Heights, Hickman, right in here, Bannister Acres. These are all newer built houses, split levels, ranches, things like that. Just a good area overall. Even right here in the White Oak, Loma Vista area will work really well. You're just kind of on the border of Raytown. So if you're staying in Kansas City, I would say, these are just some things to think about. If you've got, money to spend and, you're looking for an investment of something to park your money and will grow, then I would say look around UMKC, right in here, Brookside, Armor Hills, Waldo, that kind of area. They're going to cost you a lot more, but the rents you're going to get are higher, and the tenants, in my experience, they typically stay longer. So if you're looking for something that would, rent well, we do one in Brookside that I think it rents for 3,300 a month. Now that house is a whole lot more expensive, but when you have a house that rents that much, you get a different kind of tenant. So here's just a quick overview on properties in Kansas City, in the Kansas City metro area. That's the only thing we covered in this video. Using Rentometer, it's just a good idea to ballpark it. I do highly suggest, no matter where you go, just make it a little bit nicer than, the rentals around the area. I think it's going to save you a lot of heartache. It's going to rent to a better tenant. It's going to rent faster, which is going to be good for cash flow. And then the likelihood of somebody staying longer if it's nicer is also higher. So those are my insights. If you have any questions, want to talk about this, give us a call, 816-378-0007, or you can email us. My name's Eddie. My email's Eddie at kcvppm.com.